Welcome back to the Barley Lads. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment to let us know how we're doing or if you want us to review anything else. Today, we're drinking Dickel 8-year bourbon.
Dickel Bourbon is a Tennessee straight bourbon from the Cascade Hollow Distilling Company, Tullahoma, Tennessee. 45% or 90 proof. 8-year age statement. Price-wise, you should be able to get this around $30. Mash bill, 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley.
So this is Dickel Bourbon, a very recent release. This was released in 2021. Whiskey Advocate awarded it as their number 5 new whiskey for the year 2021. So very highly regarded in that way. And a lot of other places that are reviewing it have given it quite high scores. And it's a great value for an age statement bourbon or age statement whiskey in general for $30 or around $30 depending on where you are. But George Dickel was born in Germany in 1818 and he immigrated to the US in 1844 and settled in actually in Tennessee. He opened up shop in Nashville just as a grocer, but he started bonding whiskeys shortly after that and selling whiskeys that he would purchase, similar to how the Old Forester brand got its start. Eventually, the Dickel company was bought by his brother-in-law, Schwab, and he bought Cascade Hollow Distilling, who now produces this, but they began producing their own whiskey in that manner. So, like many distilleries, this was eventually closed because of Prohibition. At first, because of state prohibition, Tennessee closed their distilleries in 1910, so they shifted distillation up to Louisville, which was the Stitzel distillery, and then shortly after that, it was fully stopped in 1917 because Kentucky enacted Prohibition as well. In 1937, Schwab's heir sold the brand to the Schenley Distilling Company, and they began distilling or selling the product through their Frankfurt distillery, which is now Buffalo Trace. They eventually built a new distillery about a mile away from the original Cascade Hollow Distillery, and so that is actually where this is now produced. So just right around the corner from where it was, over 100 plus years ago. So present day Dickel is owned by Diageo, which is one of the largest producers in the world. They own numerous brands of all types of liquors as well as breweries. But the Dickel brand itself, which is another whiskey that we'll be trying, was introduced in 1964, and it still has the same mash bill across the board. So what makes this bourbon? All Tennessee whiskey is bourbon. So we've talked about this on the channel before when we had Jack Daniels. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon. The only difference is that Tennessee whiskey goes through a secondary process of filtering through charcoal, which does tend to give it a different flavor. Certainly has different aspects to it, but that's why they call it Tennessee whiskey. They want to be a little special. So, but Dickel is the second largest producer in the state, behind Jack Daniels, but it is a very distant second. So when it comes to this bourbon, it certainly gets them on the map, along with their Bottled and Bond, which also has won a lot of awards. And so Dickel is certainly trying to catch up to Jack Daniels, but it'd probably be many, many decades if they ever want to try to match them. So let's taste this. So the head distiller, Nicole Austin, she's only been in the role for a few years, but certainly has at least been able to blend some pretty phenomenal whiskeys with the bourbon as well as the Bottled and Bond Tennessee whiskey. So on the nose here, it does tend to have some more classic bourbon notes. And what she said was when she went about making this. The idea was to find barrels that really had a different flavor profile than what they have been producing there. Very sweet, like a caramel corn, bit of cherry cough syrup, maybe a hint of cinnamon, but not a ton of spice. Very sweet. As it coats the tongue near the back, it does get a little spicy, but not unpleasant by any means. Not hot. There is a hint of banana, which I kind of expect from anything coming out of Tennessee, or at least that's getting, going through the Lincoln County process. There is some baking spice. It has a nice finish, not long, but certainly pleasant. You get a hint of oak on the finish. But yeah, it's just very, very easy to drink. It's a pleasant whiskey to drink. There's a reason, I think, that it has won awards and is highly rated by many other reviewers. And I would say definitely a value, because for the price point, to get an age statement like this, it's hard to find this for that price with this high of a quality. So thanks again for watching another episode of the Barley Lads. Today we've been drinking Dickel Bourbon 8 year. Cheers.